Hey, my name's MJ. I was diagnosed with autism in the summer of 2023, so just last year, and it has been an interesting journey because I was aware that I was autistic for quite a while, but I went through private diagnosis in the end after years of believing I was autistic but not 100% sure and living with imposter syndrome. The process of getting diagnosed was actually fairly easy for me from the moment I had made contact with the company that I wanted to use, and the time that it took for me to actually get my diagnosis was maybe just 3 or 4 months. It wasn't a long time. There was a heck of a lot of information passed within that period, and there was a lot of research done into my background, into my family, and it was a lot of grilling, raw conversations that I had to have. So it was uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was a really quick process for me. And I think that's mainly because I went private. It was much easier. It's a lot harder if you go through the NHS route. It could take years, and you could be met with lots of professionals who don't agree with you or don't believe you. People might know that I'm autistic because I can sometimes stim in public. They're very subtle stims, but still, regardless, not many people dance their fingers or flick their fingers in public. So that can be quite an obvious autistic trait if you see me doing that. Also, I'm a very literal thinker. So when I'm having conversation with people, I can take things very literally, and that can get me in a bit of a sticky situation with someone. Or I'm just laughed at because I don't understand the content of the conversation. I'm not very shy when it comes to saying that I'm sensory overloaded. If I smell something disgusting, or if the room is an absolute tip, I will voice that to people around me. So my bluntness can make it obvious that I'm autistic. I can cut a lot of labels off of my clothes because they are really itchy. So that's quite a subtle thing that other people wouldn't necessarily notice about me being autistic. Another thing is that my meltdowns generally happen behind closed doors. If I'm feeling a meltdown come upon me, I will try and prolong it as long as I can till I get home and I feel safe. So other people don't generally see that I have meltdowns. My husband, unfortunately, is the only one that has seen me have a really huge meltdown. Shutdowns in the same, like I have a lot of shutdowns, but they go unnoticed by other people because you can generally hide a shutdown a lot easier. And lastly, I have huge anxiety, but it's something that's really, really subtle, and I can hide it through subtle stimming. So people don't generally see how anxious I am, and therefore they don't assume that I'm living as a neurodivergent person. People wouldn't assume I'm autistic because I am really good at communicating. I give a lot of eye contact. I make friends really easily. Don't know how to maintain them, but I can make friends. I can hold down a job. I have a mortgage. I'm married. These are things that people don't generally associate with autism. I'm also not a boy who's obsessed with trains, really good at maths, loves to line things up. And that's usually the stereotypical view of what people think of autistic behaviours are. And also that extreme behaviours that you can get with some autistics, the display of behaviours. I don't react the same way other autistics can in public. So I am perceived to either be mildly autistic or not autistic at all. I can feel other people's emotion when I enter a room. This is a bit of a strength of my autism. I can feel what other people are feeling without it being really stated obviously to everyone in the room. And I can adapt how I interact with them based on what my brain is telling me. The challenge of being autistic for me is that I can have hyper empathy in certain moments, and I can be so overcome with my own emotion as well as other people's emotion that I'm not able to properly engage in conversation or assess my environment. It can be very overstimulating for me to feel so intensely on certain things. I grew up in a Christian household, so my faith has always been part of knowing who I am. I think the rules that Christianity have really helped me to feel grounded as a child and knowing what was right from wrong and the high sense of justice that I've had has basically come from having a faith and knowing how to conduct myself in life. Church has always been a place of community and having people in my life who accept me and love on me, especially having a diagnosis where I feel like the world rejects me. So God's people are the people that generally accept me, and that's quite a good feeling. Since my diagnosis, my faith has been instrumental in my identity. I know exactly who I am and how my brain works, and God has always known that about me. And God has always accepted that about me. So my faith is really strong because I am the King's daughter and I have somewhere to belong. My faith has got me through some really dark times in my life, and I feel as an autistic person it is really rare that we can avoid any kind of trauma. The Bible is very clear that suffering is part of life. So knowing that my faith and my diagnosis go hand in hand just makes me feel human. And God accepts me just the way I am. So my faith helps me to accept me just the way I am.
I'm William O'Flaherty. Thanks for visiting my channel. Please consider liking and or sharing this video. Also, feel free to comment and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and watch other videos.